One example of this I heard about was the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers, who obviously were instrumental in creating the first aircraft. And apparently there was a story of the Wright brothers constantly argued and debated. Constantly. And one example that's given was a propeller. They argued and debated endlessly about the way the propeller should be designed. So much so that they had a sister that got fed up with it and had to separate the two apart. But it turned out they actually exhibited extreme task conflict. But in the end of the day, the next morning, one of the brothers would wake up and be like, you know what? You were right about this. Let's move forward with your propeller design. And it ended up turning out that neither one of their designs were the one that they needed. It was a different design altogether. So that was an example of extreme high task conflict, but low relationship conflict, where they would argue over the different ideas and opinions, but they both loved each other in the end of the day. And I think another example of this is Kobe and Shaq. It's one that came up in the book that I'm reading now. And I heard an interview with Shaq recently, and he said the media like to make out this conflict into a bigger thing than what it was. He said all it was the same way that a big brother and a little brother would argue. Same thing. We were like brothers, and we would disagree over things. But I think that's another example. Low relationship conflict, but high task conflict. I think they had differences in opinions, differences in work ethic, etc. But again, clashes about ideas and opinions. But in the end of the day, low relationship conflict that led to a synergy, that bonding, that forging of the team environment. Of course, they weren't always perfect at it. There were times where that relationship fell apart and the synergy fell apart. And I think the performance of the Lakers of the time suffered as a result.